there was a response from white supremacy this weekend to everything that's going on, you would believe that the white men that you're getting ready to see on your screen somehow are actually aggrieved. Put them up on B-roll for me before we even run the clip. I want you to take a look at these gentlemen who are marching at the Capitol, the Patriot Front Group. They held a protest in Washington, D.C. They got a little wiser than when they were in Charlottesville last time. A lot of them lost their jobs because they decided to show their faces. Well, this time they decided to cover up their faces and still show up nonetheless to show a force, a force of white supremacy. There is a plague in this country, and I'm not talking about COVID-19. It is the plague of white supremacy, of aggrieved white men, to be more specific. White men who believe that something has been taken from them. All of them are there. They probably flew there. They probably got a ride to the airport in one of their souped up trucks that their wives dropped them off at the airport in, right? They live in nice, comfortable homes. They probably have retirement packages. They probably have 401ks. And yet and still they're out there acting as if they are the most aggrieved people in the country. Oh, my God, would somebody please think of the white men? They believe their own hype so much that they show up, and they showed up over and over again. This is a group called the Patriots Group. The leader's name is Thomas Rousseau, and he gave a speech near the Capitol reflecting pool while bystanders booed. But that didn't stop him nonetheless. And I want you to understand, as we boo and shame these people, Patriot Front Group, as we boo and shame them, I want you to understand that doesn't deter them. The booing and shaming them encourages them. But let's take a listen to their leader, Thomas Rousseau, as he describes his organization's intent. Are an exhibition of our unified capability to organize, to show our strength. And he said, not as brawlers or public nuisances, but as men capable of illustrating a message and seeking an America that more closely resembles the interests of its true people. This week is going to be a very interesting one because of of all that's happening with Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court. I mentioned that in context of this conversation because these people are telling us exactly who they are and what they want to do. They are very concerned with the future of this nation for its true people. True. If you ask this individual, if any reporter were to ask him and follow up and said, who are the true Americans? Who is this country truly for? He would not be able to answer that question without devolving into the 14 words, because he understands that what his mission is to secure the future for his people and his children, right? This is their mission. And they believe that any progress whatsoever on our side of the equation is something that has to be met with force. I want to make sure that we're clear about this. You could tie this to the Rittenhouse case. White men, particularly conservative white men, and the white women who love them, they are seeking to be able to protest, to institute a coup, to storm the Capitol, and for us to sit back in awe and respect their freedom to do so and to not dare challenge them. Meanwhile, if we go into the streets and say, please stop shooting us, well, then we're likely to get run down, as we saw in the last segment. We're likely to get shot, and then the murderer get away with it and becomes a folk hero amongst all the other incels on the right. This is the imbalance that this country is seeking. This is, more precisely, this is the imbalance that aggrieved white men are seeking. They are seeking the opportunity to be able to do anything to you and you not be able to say anything about it because that was their constitutional right. And if you said anything about it, then, oh my goodness, I feared for my life. Translation into cop speak, stop resisting. The entire system is intricately interwoven to make sure that it maximizes what it does to us while it lets those folks get away with murder. And so they're marching. And I want to be sure about this. Like, this is not just nationalism. This is also like Christian nationalism. And I want to be clear as a Christian that we have to call this out exactly for what it is, because it's not just about having white people in power. It's about a very particular white person in power. It's certainly not a gay person in power. It's certainly not a leftist in power. It's not someone who wants economic freedom in power. No, it's a very particular white person in power, and they subscribe to a very particular religion. It is the religion that is doing everything that it can to get rid of Roe versus Wade. It is a religion that will look you in the face and say, of course, Amy Coney Barrett is not going to overturn Roe, knowing full well that that is the entire purpose of her existence. Her purpose, her reason for existing is to be there to overturn Roe. But this is a religion that would tell you, of course not. Oh, no, there's no way Brett Kavanaugh is going to overturn Roe, knowing full well that he has no problem overturning Roe, even though he probably has paid for quite a few abortions in his day since he loves beer so much. The absurdity of it all.